Okay, so this week is about, well, we already talked about what the week is about, so we're going to talk about today. Today is day one of week 13, and we're going to discuss understanding your personal vulnerability, okay? What make you so vulnerable to a narcissist and how they are able to get a hold of you, basically because you attract them to you. If you didn't know that, yes, you attract narcissists to you. And we're going to go over this because I want you to figure out where you are in this. But when you listen to what I'm about to tell you, it gives you a look inside of yourself, and you will be able to see what a narcissist see and why they attach themselves to you. So what we're going to be doing is understanding your personal vulnerabilities and how they may attract narcissists and why you are attracted to narcissists, okay? So, narcissists, this is a crucial step to protect yourself from future unhealthy relationships as well as fostering personal growth. Here's a structured approach to identifying and addressing these vulnerabilities. So, your vulnerability is why narcissists are able to cling to you and why you hold on to them. So, I want to continue, excuse me, I want to continue by giving you this to identify. You're going to identify traits and past experiences. Here are some common traits that may attract narcissists. Here's one of them. It's called empathy and compassion. Have you noticed that narcissists don't have empathy, but you do? And because they don't have it, they can take advantage of your empathy towards them. And also, they don't have compassion. They don't have compassion for others and their feelings and what's going on in other people's lives. But you do. And they take advantage of that. So this is what happens. Narcissists often seek out empathetic individuals because they are more likely to be understanding and forgiving. Do you see yourself in that? Reflection. Let's talk about what you need to do. You need to reflect. And this is what you're going to reflect on. Consider if you tend to prioritize others' needs over your own and often feel compelled to help those in distress. Is that you? Well, I know that is me. Remember I told you that I'm a helper, that I'm a problem solver. I like to help people solve problems. Well, as I have learned to grow from that, and I do still help people solve problems, but I have a cutoff period. When I start seeing the manipulation that's attached to it, then that's when I don't help. I back up. I'm going to give you an example. So, my mother, this recently just happened. She got her bumper pulled off her car. It was something that she did. She drove over one of those little parking blocks that supposed to be in front of where you park at. She went over it. So I've done that too in the past with one of my vehicles, but when she went over it, it pulled off her bumper. Okay, normally in a situation like that, I would have helped her get her bumper fixed. I said, not today, not today. We're not going to do that. So I just left it alone. So I'm not going to mess with it because that's one problem I don't need to fix. First off, I didn't cause that problem. Second off, she should have been paying more attention to what she was doing. And then on top of that, I knew what she was doing when she was telling me about it. She was trying to feed into my compassion and my empathy for her because I have done it myself. Remember, empathy, I can empathize. But I say, nope, I don't have money to spend on that. I'm not spending my money on that. She's going to have to get that fixed herself or she's going to ride around without a bumper, and I left it alone. Well, she just recently sent me a text message of her getting her bumper fixed, and I knew it wasn't going to cost her that much. She just needed to do the assignment and get out there and find out who will put it on for her at a reasonable price. And she got it fixed. And so in that time frame, I just stayed away. So I'm not gonna call her because I don't want to hear about that bumper. So I'm gonna stay away for a while. And I stayed away for about 2 weeks, and then eventually she sent me that text, and I said, okay, I can call her now. That is a strategy that I use to stay away from being manipulated, all right? And it worked. Maybe you can do the same. Find a strategy that can help you to not fall into the trap of being used for your compassion, all right? As well as your empathy. So, low self-esteem. Do you have low self-esteem? Individuals with low self-esteem may be more susceptible to narcissists. And what they do is that they provide validation and attention to you. That's why you get them calling you all the time and always, texting you or want to do things with you, because they know that they sucking you right on into their spell. They're just working you because you don't have high self-esteem. And it makes you very vulnerable because you are. Remember, we're talking about your vulnerabilities. Now, for me, what got me with my narcissist ex-husband was that I had just recently had a breakup with a boyfriend. And I talked about this before. And he had 2 babies on the way. And I think he had just already had one of them and another one was on the way. And they was 2 weeks apart. Oh my goodness. So anyways, when I broke up with him, I was very vulnerable at that time because I was feeling like what was wrong with me. I started feeling like why he had to go out and do this with someone else. And I remember having that conversation with my narcissist ex-husband, and he took advantage of that, okay? I'm gonna put it like that. So what you want to do is reflect on your self-worth and how you view yourself. When you do that, you are often seeking validation from external sources. So what you don't want to do is be using other people to validate you. You want to validate yourself. When you validate yourself, there's a wall that goes up that narcissistic people cannot penetrate, all right? So validate yourself. Here's another one, people-pleasing tendencies. Do you have people-pleasing tendencies? Do you always try to please somebody? You're always finding yourself trying to please someone. A strong desire to be liked and to avoid conflict. You could be vulnerable to manipulation. I ain't gonna say could be, you are vulnerable to manipulation if you are a people pleaser. So what you want to do is reflect on examples if you frequently go out of your way to make others happy, sometimes to the expense of your own needs. You need something, but yet you're neglecting that just so you can make the other person happy. Is that you? History of trauma and abuse. Maybe you have had abuse in your past. You have some type of trauma that happened to you. So past experiences of trauma or abuse can impact your boundaries and your self-protection mechanism. So what you want to do is reflect. Reflect by you want to identify any past experiences that may have weakened your boundaries or impacted your ability to trust your own judgment. Maybe you might feel like you're not good at something, or something happened to you and you should have listened to your intuition, but you didn't, and something happened, so now you don't trust your own judgment. So narcissists prey on that as well. Then, of course, dependency. Let's talk about dependency. A tendency to rely on others for emotional support and decision making can make you a target, because you depend on someone else to make decisions for you. And you also depending on them for emotional support. You don't need people to support you emotionally. That is something that you can actually do for yourself. So reflect. You want to assess the level of your dependency. How much do you need from them to validate your emotions? Okay? So do you often seek others' approval or guidance before making a decision? This is something that I do not do. And I probably have been paying attention to this some years back. I don't ask people what should I do when I already know what I really want to do. I just do it. I tell you I'm doing it. Your opinion doesn't matter when I have made up my mind, because I'm at a point where I feel like this is my life, and when I'm dead and gone, who is going to stand before judgment for me to say, well, I made the decision for her. I told her not to do this. That's why it didn't get done. So, because of that mindset that I have chosen to not ask people what do they think about something that I'm choosing to do. Like, I didn't ask no one when I decided to create the business imaging coaching. I didn't even ask my husband. No, I didn't ask him. I just said, what do you think about me going into business? I didn't do that. I just did it. And then I told him, hey babe, I started a business and this is what the business is about. And then I went into details about exactly what it is. I have my business plan and everything. I have already done it. Now, did I need his approval? No. Why? Because I have done that before and look where it got me. So why should I have to repeat that? Not going to repeat it. He understands that I have individuality, just like I understand he have individuality. Now, my husband, he does do that with me. He will say, babe, tell me what you think about this. And that's because he told me, I value your opinion. And I said, okay, well, you don't really need my opinion on this, but if you want it, I give it to you. This is what you want to do. I ask series of questions first. Is this what you really want to do? And then if he say yes, and I said, well, then do it. You don't need my opinion on that because that's what you want. And you should. And he said, well, I want to make sure that you're not affected by this. Okay, I get it. So let's go into details about what can affect me. And then when we get into those nitty gritties of it, then I say, okay, now I see how this can affect me. But instead of doing it that way, maybe we can find another way, another alternative, but you can still do what you want. Okay? It just would be to where I'm not affected in that way. And then, of course, for me, vice versa, when I need to assert something to him, I make sure that I'm doing it out of respect, but not because I just want to do it because it's what is my life, I'm going to get done. No, I'm respecting that fact that I do need to bring this to his attention. So are you the type of person that always look for someone to help you make decisions? If that's you, that's why you are a target for a narcissist. You might want to change that. So let's talk about building awareness of personal patterns as well as behaviors. So this is how you build awareness. First, you want to start your journaling. Yes, you're already journaling on other things, but you want to journal on this specific topic, okay? So exercise, you want to keep a journal to document your interactions, your feelings, and your thoughts. Reflect on patterns that emerge, especially in relationships. You see something that keep happening over and over again, write about that, okay? Write on it, write on, all right? Then what you're gonna do, you're gonna focus attention to situations where you felt devalued, manipulated, or overly accommodating. You need to talk about that. Where in your life that you did these things, you felt manipulated, write about that. Who was the person that did it? How did it come about? And then they devoured you. They made you feel less than a person, less than human. Okay, talk about that. Or they basically shoot off your ideal like it wasn't nothing. Write about that. And then you want to write about when you were overly accommodating for someone. Talk about that. Why did you do it that way? What made you feel like compensating for this person because they probably didn't need it anyway. But you want to make sure you write that down, all right? Then that will help you in the future when you get into a new relationship to stay away from that, okay? And to also be on guard for it. Then you want to continue with your therapy. If you are in therapy now or have counseling or have a life coach, discuss this with them. Bring this up in your next meeting. Talk about your identity pattern that you identify certain patterns about the past that you want to discuss with them, and you want to talk about those past experiences, okay, and your behavior and how the relationship made you feel. Talk about that because they can give you some more insight. The goal is to deepen insight into why you may attract narcissist individuals, okay? Any type of narcissistic individuals, you want to identify that area. That's the goal. And you want your counselor or your life coach to help you to identify this is what you've been doing. This part of you need to be worked on because it's time to stop this. And whenever this here situation, such a manipulation occurs, then you will identify immediately why it's happening, and then you can put a stop to it and say, this person's trying to manipulate me. Like how I did an example with my mother with the car and the bumper. I'm like, oh, there she goes. She's trying to manipulate me because she gets in her emotions. She get all emotional, and I can feel that energy to where I'm like, well, maybe I should go and help her maybe I should help her get another bumper or get her bumper put back on. No, that's a manipulation tactic. I'm like, oh, there she goes. So I'm not being personally affected by it because I see it, and that's exactly what you want the life coach or therapist, your counselor, to be able to help you identify these behaviors, okay? And then to help you come up with a strategy to change these behaviors. Now let's do some other exercises about self-reflection. You want to question, and the way you do, you're going to regularly question yourself, and you're going to reflect on these questions about your relationship with people. Now, this is more than just about you being manipulated by a boyfriend or a girlfriend. It's also you being manipulated by your parents. Because you can see, I've been talking about my parent, right? I didn't talk about my narcissistic ex-husband. I'm literally talking about my mother, right? So this is for all areas, okay? So what you're going to do, you're going to question. And here's some examples on some of the questions you could ask yourself. You will say, do I often feel drained after interacting with certain people? You figure out who this person is that's draining you. Every time you talk to them, you feel like your energy has been zapped out of you, okay? When you have identified that person, write their name down. That way you can know that this is the person who I need to be more cautious with when I talk to them. Another question you ask yourself is, do I struggle with saying no or setting boundaries? And if you do, write down why. Why are you struggling with that? What is causing you to be not able to say no? What is causing you to not be able to set these boundaries? Write it down because you're going to start working on that, okay? And then another question you want to ask yourself is, do I find myself excusing or rationalizing other harmful behavior? Other people's harmful behaviors, the way they are doing you, are you rationalizing, are you excusing it? Like, he didn't mean it. Oh, yes, he did. That's why he did it. So you want to definitely question that as well and write the answer down. What this does, it helps you create awareness. This practice helps to recognize unhealthy patterns and understanding the role your traits play in these dynamics. Okay? After you have done that, you're going to do mindfulness practices. So we are always going to talk about mindfulness practices because when you are in the moment and you're paying attention to what's going on in the moment, it prevents future outcomes from happening, all right? So exercise by engaging in mindfulness practices like meditation as well as deep breathing exercises to increase your awareness and your emotional regulation. That way you can stay on top of your emotions and what's going on around you. I'm telling you, it works. I do it all the time. That's why I'm able to pick up on when I'm being manipulated very fast, and also in the moment while it's happening. Like, oh, there they go again, trying it. Yep. And they don't even know that I'm paying attention to that because I don't bring it up to them. I don't say nothing about it. I just say to myself, there you go. They're doing it. So that way, whatever my reaction is going to be, or my next step is going to be to counteract that manipulation. I'm not going to let that manipulation happen. All right? So benefits. Here's some benefits of this. When you do this exercise of mindfulness help you stay present. Not looking all into the future. It helps you stay present, attune with your own needs as well as your boundaries, reducing a likelihood of being manipulated. All right? That's why you need that mindfulness. I'm telling you. Now we're going to talk about building awareness of personal patterns and behaviors. So we're going to talk about you building awareness of your own personal patterns, things that you do, and your own behaviors, because this is where you are being sucked in. Your narcissistic person who's trying to latch themselves to you, this is what you got to pay attention to for yourself. You want to definitely build boundaries. You want to set them, all right? So learn boundary setting. I have already taught you this. So go back over it, all right? Practice setting and enforcing healthy boundaries in all areas of your life. You can set these boundaries, but if you don't enforce it, it's not going to work. You basically lying to yourself. So set these boundaries, all right? And then enforce it. You got it written down. You know what your non-negotiables are. Now it is time to enforce it. I'm going to teach you how to enforce some of these boundaries, all right? We're going to talk about that in a later day. But we're definitely going to talk about how to enforce them. Because some people just don't know how. And I want to make sure you get all the activities as well as all the knowledge that I can give to you in this area. But how you can do some of this is by role-playing scenarios with your trusted friends. So you're going to role play any type of assertiveness with trusted friends. We've done this before. Do it again. Continue to role play. If you got a situation that comes up and you like, you know what? He crossed the boundary and I don't know exactly how to approach him. Let me role play with you and see where I can, how I can strengthen this. And then you role play with them, and then you let them know, hey. And then your friend or your life coach, your therapist could say, look, say it this way with a lower tone, a softer tone, or you might have to stop being passive and be a little bit more assertive. Not aggressive, but assertive. And I'm going to teach you how to do some of that as well. So self-esteem building. Definitely continue to read my book, 365 Days of Mindfulness. There you go. Your daily affirmation guide. You can get this off of Amazon, or you can go straight to the website. And I will put a link up there, okay? You will have the link where you can go straight to my books, and all of my books are there. So that way you don't have to go searching around on Amazon trying to figure out which book it is, how to get this book, and you can just go straight to getting the book from there. And you can order. Matter of fact, you can even read some of the first few pages, so you can know exactly what you're getting, all right, on the website. So what you want to do is use positive affirmation to boost your self-esteem and reinforce your sense of self-worth. That's what you want to do. As well as your achievements. You want to regularly acknowledge and celebrate your achievements, no matter how small. And you want to do this because it's going to help you to build confidence in yourself. Assertiveness training. We went over this. Continue to do the assertiveness training. Continue to use this practice in every situation that you encounter with anybody, all right? So communication skills, you want to take assertiveness training courses. If what I gave you is not enough, then take some more courses, do some workshops to improve your communication skills, all right? So definitely do that. As well as practice, you want to practice. When you practice this, it'll help you stay focused. It'll also help you with your everyday activities. Practicing assertive communication is one of the key ways to be able to let people know you mean business, and they will also take you seriously. I'm telling you, they will take you seriously. So focus on expressing your needs and your opinions clearly and respectfully. All right. So we want to also talk about healthy relationship modes. Now, what is healthy relationship modes? Well, it's observation. You're going to observe and learn from healthy relationships around you. Other people who have healthy relationships, you might have an aunt and an uncle who've been together for many years. Pay attention to how they talk to each other. Take notes of the behavior and interaction of their characteristics in their relationships. Just if the husband asks the wife a question, is she passive when she answering him? Is she aggressive when she answering him? Or is she assertive when she's answering him? And vice versa. Pay attention to that. Do they call each other to let each other know what's going on, but not to the extent to where someone have to know they every waking move, you know? Are they able to be trusted and not have the other spouse constantly spying on them? You know, you want to pay attention to those type of things, all right? So what you want to also do is seek mentorship and guidance for your what you want to do is make sure that whoever you have a mentor, whoever you are trying to mentor you, you want to ask them if it's okay. Can you mentor me in this area to develop healthy skills for relationships? Find someone who is in a great relationship. That everyone's relationship is not perfect. I'm gonna tell you that now. You might witness them being mad at each other, but pay attention to how they resolve conflict, because that is the most important part. It's not the fact that they have a conflict, because everyone's gonna have one. Every relationship is going to have a conflict. It's not about the conflict at hand. It's about how do they resolve it. That's the thing. What is it that they do to get that situation handled in a respectful way? So that's what you want to do. You also want to continue with your self-care routine. So prioritize self-care. Develop and maintain a self-care routine that nourishes your physical, emotional, and mental well-being. Balance is very important, all right? So ensure that your self-care routine includes activities that you enjoy. Not something that you're just doing, but you really don't like it, because then you won't keep doing it. So make sure it's something that you enjoy and that recharges your energy. Yes. I had to have my energy recharge recently. That's one reason why I went on the fast, because I was getting depleted to a point where I'm like, I was even questioning this here course that I'm creating for you guys. I was like, am I wasting my time creating this course for you? And then I realized after I went on my rejuvenation fast that in my answer of my request for answers, I'm doing the right thing. So you want to develop a self-care routine, all right, that you enjoy, as well as recharging your energy. And education awareness. Continue learning about narcissism. It doesn't stop. So continue to educate yourself about it and the traits that better recognize, so help you better recognize them in other people. If you fall off on this, you're going to find yourself back in that trap because of who you are. Because you are a compassionate person and you empathize with people. Don't change that about yourself. Stay compassionate and stay empathetic. What you need to do is protect that part of yourself. And you protect that part by continuing to educate yourself about narcissistic people and how they try to suck you into their world. All right? Don't let them vacuum clean you. Don't let them hoover you. All right. So just letting you know. So continue to utilize books, articles, online resources, podcasts. Deepen your understanding of narcissism and its impact on relationships. That way you will stay far away from them. When you see them, you'll recognize them. You don't want nothing to do with them. And they will be like, man, she's not a person I need to be trying to mess with. They're going to try you. I'm going to let you know that now. But they will get it through their thick heads that you're not the one to be played with, all right? So understanding and addressing your personal vulnerabilities is a crucial step in safeguarding yourself from narcissistic individuals and fostering healthier relationships. By identifying traits and past experiences that may attract narcissists and building awareness of personal patterns and behaviors, you can develop stronger boundaries, enhance your self-esteem, and cultivate a more empowered and fulfilling life. Remember, self-awareness and continuous self-improvements are key to breaking free from past patterns and creating a brighter future. So this does end day 1. Tomorrow's day 2. We're going to talk about red flags and early warning signs, okay?